juniors, and welcome back to ACT Prep. Just as a general overview, I'm going to go through each of the sections of the test. So that is English, math, reading, science, and followed by writing, but we covered that at winter cohort, so just the four multiple choice subjects. For English, so it's the first test that you take, and it has 5 passages with 15 questions for each passage for a total of 75 questions. You have 45 minutes to complete the test. If you're looking at a standard pace, it comes out to about 2 questions per minute. The purpose of the English section is to test your skills in editing and revising writing. So you'll see 2 types of questions. The first one is about usage and mechanics. So if you remember, that's what I call the rules of the English language. So this can include anything from pronouns and how to use those, sentence structure like complex, compound sentences, punctuation. So a lot of questions are on commas and how to use those. Modifiers, just general grammar rules of English. And so you'll see these questions directly written into the passage that you're reading. So it'll be an underlined word or phrase, and then you'll go directly to that question and answer the best possible choice. There will be some technically correct options, but you're looking for the best possible choice for that question. First type of question is usage and mechanics. The next one is rhetorical skills. So these questions cover just the overall composition of the passage and the effectiveness of that writing. So you'll see these questions at the end or beginning of the passages or paragraphs. And so some examples of the questions, they'll ask you, like, is the text organized logically? Does it flow smoothly overall? Does the introduction or conclusion make sense? So yeah, that's rhetorical skills, the big picture stuff. So here I've listed practice problems for the usage and mechanics questions. So if you want to look at your progress report that is shared with you on Google Drive and identify which areas are your strengths and weaknesses and check out these practice problems. This will be useful in your upcoming test as well as just general review. Following English is the math section. So for this section, there is 60 total questions that covers algebra, geometry, and trigonometry. And you have 60 minutes to take this test, which comes out to about 1 question per minute. If you're looking at the breakdown of the questions, you can see that algebra is the most heavily tested section, specifically pre-algebra. And then the next one is geometry. In this category, coordinate geometry is heavily focused. And then trigonometry. But algebra and geometry and trigonometry are the subsections tested, and this test is the only one that goes in increasing order of difficulty. So the first questions you'll see will be relatively easier than the end of the test. And here are some practice problems I picked out. All of these are in your ACT book. Look at these, again, look at your progress sheet. Focus on your weaknesses because improving those areas is going to bring up your score most effectively. During your test day, you'll actually get a break in between math and reading. So I believe it's a 10-minute break in between those tests, and then you'll get into the reading portion, if you remember, is 4 passages, 10 questions per each, for a total of 40 questions. And you have 35 minutes to complete this portion. So the categories of those passages are always going to be in the same order, and the first one is a literary narrative, which means it's usually an excerpt or a short story that is fiction. The next one following that is a social science. Following that, the third one is the humanities passage. And then after that, the fourth and final one is natural science. So approximately they're 1,000 words in length, so it takes a little bit of time to get through the passage. But the purpose it serves is to familiarize you with the kind of level of complexity you'll see in college textbooks and readings. The fiction, the first passage, or literary narrative, asks about the feelings and thoughts of the main character. The next three are nonfiction passages, so it asks about specific facts, so keep that in mind. So for this, the ACT reading test, there is no increasing order of difficulty. So if you find that you kind of gravitate towards one of the categories, like humanities instead of natural science, then go ahead and do that one first. Just because of the time limit, you'll want to get to as many questions as possible. Another thing is that the answers to every question are found in the passage. So there's no background knowledge like in the math test that you'd need, no formulas or anything. It's just simply reading and comprehension of the reading. So for pacing, it was 35 minutes and 4 passages, so it comes out to about 9 minutes per passage. You want to spend probably 3 to 4 minutes on reading it, and then the rest of the time is answering the questions. So remember to stick as closely to what is stated in the passage as possible. Test makers like to throw in additional facts that sound like it could be right, but if it's not mentioned in the passage, then that's automatically not an option. So the science section, which is the last one, we briefly talked about it, and we haven't taken the test in person yet, but just wanted to give you an overview of this. So there is 40 questions in 35 minutes, so just like reading, same amount of questions and time. So the skills that is being measured is interpretation, analysis, and evaluation, as well as reasoning and problem solving. So questions will include looking at graphs, tables, charts, and the data representations in those, as well as research summaries. So those are usually at the end of the science section. It's also called the conflicting viewpoints. The contents of these, the science test will include stuff from biology, maybe chemistry, like earth and natural science, and physics. So a background knowledge in these subjects is helpful, but it's definitely not needed. It'll only help you in giving you context about the passages, but you don't need to have taken all these courses to do well in the science section. In this module, you will see additional resources and links to other videos that go deeper in depth into the strategies that are specific for each test, as well as just any other helpful tips that we haven't gone over in person or on Canvas. So for this release, there are 2 parts to your homework. The first is that you'll pick 3 of the drills that I've listed throughout this video and do them from your ACT book. I laid out a lot of options, so and I'll list them in the assignment description as well. But you have the complete, autonomy to choose which ones you want to do. I want you to pick ones that you are still unsure of, so you can be more well prepared for the upcoming tests. So 3 assignments, or 3 drills from the book. You'll take a picture of your work like you've done in the past and upload these images to Canvas. So 3 drills, 3 image uploads. So that's the first part. Second part is after you take your school ACT on March 3rd, you'll answer a few post-test questions. And I am aware that some students won't be taking it on that day with their schools. So don't worry, you'll still have to do the assignment, but you will get an alternative due date so it aligns with your case. So that's all I have for you. Feel free to reach out if you would like more specific feedback and any other questions relating to the ACT. Take care, good luck, you'll do great.